Recording in progress. Recording stopped.
Shabbat Shalom. The rabbis of old didn't have this issue having to put their lapel mic on in their earpiece. The only ones that have to do this now are the rabbis and Madonna. So I'll get this on. I guess Madonna jokes still work at Shul. Okay. Get that on there. Welcome to everyone. It's so nice to see your faces. To me, this is summer weather, being from Boston, but I know you Texans, this is cold. I actually have to buy a coat. That's how bad I am. And my sister-in-law has her mittens on and the big coat. She's like, "Are you crazy?" I said, "No, I haven't bought a coat yet. I'm going to go. So anyway, just a little background. But Shabbat Shalom. please turn and wish your neighbor a Shabbat Shalom. And we're going to talk a little bit later. We're going to wish for healing for people that were affected by the devastation in California. But I hope that if you have friends or family there, or wherever there are natural disasters, coming to Shul can be cathartic for you. It is for me. I look forward to it. I look forward to seeing your faces and to sharing prayer with you. So hopefully that will have that effect, and that's what we're here for. We want to make it cathartic, gentle, welcoming, and warm for you, and a place that's a refuge where you can go, especially in these crazy times. So we are going to begin with the singing of Maya Fe Hayom on page 10. And when we sing Maya Fe Hayom, we're basically saying how lovely it is. Shabbat Shalom, how lovely it is to be together in our beautiful sanctuary. Maya Fe Hayom. Let's join Angela and we will sing together.
Maya Fe Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Maya Fe Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
We'll turn to page 9, one page previous. And let's read at the bottom together. We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat, for Shabbat memories, for Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living, for Shabbat memories glowing even in darkness, for Shabbat peace, born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessing, O God. And we're going to add one extra blessing tonight on page 8. This is beautiful, and we don't do it a lot, and I thought we would do it just to start off our service. So let's read together. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics and no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and to bring that vision to life. And now I'd like to call up Rita to light our candles. We are on page 2. They're actually lit. She's going to lead the blessing. Page 2, everyone.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Yeshua, thank you. Our sages tell us that Shabbat comes in like a bride. Every week we welcome the bride during Shabbat. So we will welcome the Sabbath bride on page 20 with the singing of the Chadodi. And right before the last stanza, I'll ask everyone to turn and face the back of the room. And just to make sure you know, after we've turned and faced, it's your decision if you want to stay standing for the last chorus or sit. That's totally up to you. Lechado D, page 20.
Lechado di likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. 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 Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, ishmianu el hamyuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'litila. Lechado di likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lechado di likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor habracha. Merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'makshavat techila. Lechado di likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lechado di likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela.
We'll rise and face the front of the sanctuary.
Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam besimcha uvetzola. Toch emone am segula, boi chala, boi chala. Lechado di likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lechado di likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela.
May be seated. And as our service is split into different sections, as we've talked about in the past, the first section are our preliminary prayers. We're kind of warming up. If you were in a relay race, you'd be doing your warm-ups. And now is the part where we get serious. And right before we're going to do the Baruch Hu, I'm going to chant the Chatzi Kaddish on page 26. It's a gateway into the Baruch Hu. It tells God that he's exalted and hallowed and may God's name be great. And it kind of just prepares us to move into a little more of a serious blessing when we say the Baruch Hu, because that's the gateway to the Shema, the beautiful words of the Shema. So if you are familiar with the Chatzi Kaddish, please join me in the responses on page 26. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chayedecho bet Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, uvizman kariv, vimeru, amen. Yeheshme Rabba mevorach, le'al almo mehomaya, yitbarak, yitbarak, v'yishtabak, v'yipar, v'yitraman, v'yinaseh, v'yithadar, v'yithalev, v'yithalal, Shemeda Kudisha Brechu, Leila Min Ko Birchata V'Shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata damiran bi'alma v'meru. Amen. Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time, even at unlikely times and through unlikely places. There is no place on earth without the presence. If you are able, we rise as the ark is opened for the Baruch Hu on page 28.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
You may shut the ark. Thank you very much. And we ask you to be seated. We'll turn to page 31. Middle of the page, let's read together. This is an hour of change. Within it, we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it, we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, Hamariv, Aravim. We turn to page 32 for Ahavat Olam.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadata. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shachbenu, uvkumenu nasiach behukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed, ki hem chayenu, ve'orech yameinu, uvahem negei yomam v'layla, negei yomam v'layla. Ve'ahavatcha al tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Ohev amo Yisrael.
Before we turn to the Shema on page 34, there's a beautiful responsive reading on page 33. We'll read middle of the page. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. Then this holiness of your works and the living language that gives it form, everyone. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. We ask you, if able, to please rise for the sacred words of the Shema. Hear, O Israel, Adonai our God, Adonai is one.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai
seated. During the Shema, we talk of loving one God. And with the V'ahavta on page 36, this instructs us how to love God. So let's chant together, page 36. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'elech asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha vishinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlektecha v'haderech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ושעתן להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, הייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem le'Elohim, ani Adonai Elohechem emet. Page 39. Middle of the page, we'll read responsively. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. From bondage in Egypt, we were delivered at Sinai. We bound ourselves to your way. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. On page 40, Michamoka, and believe it or not, folks, and I'm going to talk about this in my Devar, we are ending Genesis, the book of Genesis. We're actually getting into Exodus. It seems like we were just visiting with Moses a couple months ago. Right? It was right before, and now we're getting back to the birth of baby Moses. So we think of the Exodus, especially when we're reading about the Exodus. So page 40, Micha Mocha. Let's all sing with joy and with meaning.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש. נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקר
top of page 43, I'm going to sing a little melody, and I'd love for you to sing along. If you take a couple of times through, you'll definitely know it. Thinking about the tragedy that's going on in California right now, I was looking through the prayer book, and this encapsulated it for me. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. So the melody goes like this. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Please join us. Let there be love understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's One more time, try some harmonies. Just try them. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. That was beautiful. Thank you. We are now going to continue with Vishamru on page 44. The people of Israel shall keep Shabbat as a covenant for all time. Let's join together. Page 44, top of the page.
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל עוד היא לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש.
Everybody. Vishamru
בני ישראל את
השבת
לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
As we turn to page 46 for the Amidah, it is very special this week because in our Torah portion, we read about the death of Jacob and also the death of Joseph. But before Jacob passes, he invokes his ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Ephraim and Manasseh, his grandkids. And he talks of the chain of the Jewish people. And I think that's very special because when we do the Amidah, when we recite this, we're thinking about our ancestors. And I always love being here because when we look around our beautiful sanctuary, the feeling is palpable. Recently did a funeral, one of the funerals I did in here, and one of the family members who hadn't been to our temple much at all just said there was a vibe in here and an energy, and you connect with the past, and I really feel that here. So when we say the Amidah, let's do it with a little more reverence, really lock into it, and we'll do that together. So we are going to be opening the Ark. We ask you to rise if you are able. Page 46. Adonai sifata tiftach ufia ki tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Page 48. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Mekonei Hakol, V'zocher Chastei Avot V'imahot, Umevi Gula, Lifnei V'nechem, Leman Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer Umoshiach Umagen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Betzrat Sarah, page 50. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Atara Le'oshia, Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem, Mechalchel Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofech Holim, Umatir Asurim, Umechaye Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bagevurot, Umidam Helach, Melech Mimid, Umechaye, Umatzmiak Yeshua, V'neheman Nata Lechayot HaKol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechaye HaKol, page 52. Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kadoshim B'chol Yom Yalu Chasela, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. You may close the ark, please. Yasher Koach. And we may be seated. That was beautiful, by the way. I heard everyone singing, and it was really, really nice. We continue on page 53. We're going to read in the middle of the page. Where might I go to find you, exalted, hidden one? Yet where would I not go to find you, ever-present, eternal one? My heart cries out to you. Please draw near to me. The moment I reach out for you, I find you reaching in for me. Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Page 55, top of the page. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechadesh HaShabbat. Turn to page 61 for a prayer of peace. Top of the page. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch Atah Adonai, Hamavarech et Amo, Yisrael Bashalom. And at the very bottom, let's read the very bottom of the English. Don't stop after beating the swords into plowshares. Don't stop. Go on beating and make musical instruments out of them. Whoever wants to make war again will have to turn them into plowshares first. Friends, we're going to take a couple of moments of silent prayer, and then we'll reconvene with a song of peace on page 62.
Yihul ratzon imrefi, v'hagyon libi lefanecha, Adonai tzuri v'go'ali. Oh, may the words of my mouth, the meditation of my heart be acceptable before you, O God, my rock and my redeemer. Oh, say shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, amen.
Thank you, Angela and Dwight. That was beautiful. As we segue from peace and thinking about peace and singing about peace, we segue to healing. Healing for those who are in need of healing, and also importantly, those who have caregivers, because it is as important to be a caregiver to someone in need of healing. So may the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal those who are ill, Chelsea Tipton, Bishop Emeritus Curtis Guillory, Lawson Helms, Eleanor Crum, Don Berger, Joel Berger, Charmaine Berry, Mark Fertitta, Mike Mayfield, Rabbi Daniel Alter, Chad Tupper, Bailey Hayes, Addie Armstrong, Jennifer Fontenot, Neil Early, and we'll send healing to the citizens of California who have been injured, these horrible fires. And now we're going to go around the sanctuary. If there's anyone else at all who's in need of healing, please say his or her name out loud. Anybody? How about in the middle? Way in the back? Yeah. Back. Anybody else we missed? We'll continue with the singing on page 253, middle of the page, singing of Mishabera, page 253, middle of the page.
Mishaberach avotenu makor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach imotenu makor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us
Blessed One, holy be he, be filled with compassion, for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit, and let us say, Amen. A man had 3 children, a girl named Susan and 2 sons named Bill and Stephen. One day his wife accused him of playing favorites and making it too obvious that his daughter Susan is his favorite child. The man said, "That is ridiculous, utter nonsense. I love all 3 of my children equally. I love my Susan and the other 2 non-Susans all the same." This has nothing to do with the Hazeltons, okay? All right. This week we conclude the book of Genesis with Parshat Vayechi, a parsha filled with family drama, blessings, and yes, as we discussed a little last week, drum roll, Jewish guilt. It's a parsha where the end of Jacob's life brings together the entire family for what seems like a final grand family reunion, but with a few awkward moments thrown in for good measure. At the start of the parsha, we're told that Jacob is nearing the end of his life, calls for his son Joseph and says, "Please don't bury me in Egypt. When I die, take me back to the land of my ancestors in Canaan and bury me in the cave of Machpelah, the burial place of my father and grandfather." In a way, Jacob's insistence on being buried in Canaan speaks to his desire to ensure that the connection to his ancestors and to the promised land is never severed. The land of Israel is not just a physical space, my friends. It represents the hope and promise of the future, even in the face of his own mortality. But Vayechi isn't just about Jacob's wishes regarding his final resting place. He spends the majority of the parsha blessing his sons and his grandsons and invoking his grandfathers and his patriarchs, giving each one a prophetic statement about their future. One of the most famous moments comes when Jacob blesses his sons and gives them, well, somewhat mixed reviews. Take, for example, Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, who gets this: "Reuben, you are my firstborn, my strength, and the first fruits of my vigor, but you are as unstable as water. You shall not excel." Now, that is one way to parent. I don't know. Imagine being Reuben. You've worked your whole life to try to be in your father's good graces and make him proud. And when it comes time for the big blessing, you get unstable as water. That's like being told you've great potential, but not so great in practice. You could have been a contender, kid. But here's the thing. We all know that not every family member gets a glowing review. I didn't always get glowing reviews. Just think of your own family gatherings. We recently had Thanksgiving not too far back. When the cousins started getting their blessings, one might get a compliment on their cooking, another on their creativity, maybe a third on how nice they dress, but there's always that one kid that somehow gets, "Keep doing what you're doing. And maybe try not to mess things up so much next year," right? These are from experience. I've been told these things. So, amidst these somewhat cryptic or even harsh blessings, there is one that stands out for its beauty, though, the blessing of Joseph. Jacob says, "Joseph is a fruitful vine by a spring. Its branches run over the wall." That's a little better than "you're as unstable as water." In other words, Joseph is like a tree that not only grows, but also reaches out beyond his immediate surroundings, just as Joseph did when he rose to power in Egypt and helped save his family during the famine. Jacob remembers in detail the difficult times Joseph went through, being sold by his brothers, being falsely accused in Egypt. It's almost as if Jacob is saying, "Yes, Joseph, you've had it rough, but look how far you've come." Let's face it, that's the ultimate Jewish parental move. I know you've been through a lot, but look at all the good you've done with it. After all the blessings, Jacob passes away, and Joseph is left to lead the family. What happens next is a moment that gives us the best mix of love, concern, and guilt, the hallmark of every Jewish family. Joseph's brothers worry that since their father is now deceased, Joseph will finally take revenge on them for selling him into slavery all those years ago. They send a messenger to Joseph saying, "Before your father died, he told us that you should forgive your brothers." There's no evidence that Jacob said that. But hey, if you're ever in doubt, throw in the "dad said so" excuse. It works every time. Joseph reassures his brothers with the famous line, "Am I in the place of God, brothers? And while Joseph is clearly a paragon of virtue here, we might be tempted to see this as an opportunity for a bit of personal growth. Maybe, just maybe, it's time to let go of the past. But friends, in the end, Joseph forgives his brothers. We had an interesting discussion at Torah study a few weeks back about forgiveness and how when you forgive, it takes a burden off of you. If you go around upset at someone, which we've all been there, believe me, and you forgive, it really is a burden that's lifted. And you won't really think about it as much, but we've all been there. So what do we learn from Parshat Vayechi? First, it's a reminder that families can be complicated. Full of love, yes, but also full of tension, sometimes miscommunication. Throw in sports and allegiance to teams, and we've got a real mixture there. But ultimately, it's a story of reconciliation. Jacob's final words and blessings are a testament to the importance of family ties, especially as Jews. Family ties are so important. Even if they aren't always perfect, it's about looking at the past, acknowledging the struggles, and still having hope for the future. Friends, in closing, maybe, just maybe, we all need to take a lesson from Joseph, learning to forgive his brothers who sold him into slavery, and to remember that sometimes a blessing doesn't need to be perfect, just needs to be sincere. Shabbat Shalom. Cynthia?
Rabbi, your message always makes me try to think of a word. And I think that the word that I want to think about tonight is, well, just a reminder for those who weren't there. Last week it was resilience. Resilience in light of the way that the brothers were going to be greeted by their not knowing what their brother was going to end up saying to him. And also resilience now for the people of Florida, of California. That's important. But I think another word that's important is the word perspective. If we change our perspective and how we've always viewed something, and maybe that always viewing it was in a negative manner, maybe we can change that perspective to becoming more positive, and therefore our attitude into becoming better. I want to thank the Greenberg family for the yahrzeit donations tonight. I also want to thank Rita and Barry Davis and Regina Hayes for being hostesses. A special thank you to Rita for blessing the Shabbat candles this evening. Birthday luncheon for Sisterhood is coming up, and on your program it does say RSVP requested. So be sure you pay attention to the date and you let Sarah know in the temple office that you do plan to attend. Rabbi has Torah study tomorrow. He will also be here for services next Friday and then Torah study the next day. We also are having an ABC committee plus a brotherhood membership, Havdalah with Rabbi Nelson. Brotherhood will provide the entree. Each of you is responsible for a letter of the alphabet to provide your food. You can check the happenings to see what your letter of the alphabet is, and then there'll be some fun bingo. So I hope everybody will come. Again, since there's food involved, please RSVP so that we have plenty of money set aside for the purchase of all the food. Make sure that the food is rather not the money, but that the food has plentiful enough for everybody to have. We're looking at another disaster relief project. Emanuel member Wayne Margolis pretty much moved that we do something on behalf of the people of Florida, I keep getting messed up, of California, and the committee voted, I believe, 100% that we do something for them. And so we're going to be having a emergency humanitarian and disaster relief drive for the people of California who were affected. We will go through Jewish organizations in California. There are multiple Jewish federations in that area, including the Jewish Federation of Los Angeles, but I don't know how badly their wings have been clipped for their service, and so I'll also investigate the other ones. I read online that 100% of whatever's donated, which I already knew, but I need to repeat that to you who donate, 100% of what's donated that we give, that we collect and that we give going there is 100% expended for all the appropriate purposes. There's no admin fees taken off of it. It's 100%. That's why I like to give to special donations, to special funds that are held by the Jewish federations, regardless of where they are. You should not have to pay an admin fee for something that is an emergency. I believe that's it, except for there's a birthday, an anniversary. Miriam and Jim Thompson's birthday anniversary is today. I keep thinking of today. My nephew's birthday is today. I'm sorry. But Miriam and Jim, I contacted them early. They appreciated the greetings. And with that, I would also like to thank our crew up in the balcony, Angela and Dwight and Michael and Chris. Thank you for being where it's so cold up there. For a while, I saw Michael with his muffs. And Rabbi, again, thank you. And thank you to our openers and closers. It's a mitzvah to be up on the bima, and it's a mitzvah to be able to open and close the ark so that every one of you can view it and offer your prayers. Shabbat shalom, and keep the prayers going, and enjoy the Sabbath rest.
Thank you, Cynthia. Oh, sure. I thought Cynthia was going to reveal her favorite child, but she didn't, so that's okay. And I'm only speaking as a favorite child, so just know it's my perspective. Before we turn to a prayer for the state of Israel, my daughter, Emily, just got back from her birthright trip and had the time of her life. It was a transformative trip for her. And I wanted to just tell you one little thing. She was in a group of about 30. All the Israelis that were there profusely thanked them. Not only thanked them, but I know we have members of our congregation who have donated to Birthright Israel. And if you don't know what it is, it's a trip that allows young people to go to Israel, and it's a wonderful trip. I mean, they went to the site of the Nova tragedy. But they were at the wall, and one of the boys on her trip started crying, and she looked over at him, and he's like, I want to say the Shema, but I can't remember the words, because he was so overwhelmed by being there. And she helped him, and she started him, and he said the Shema. But I was thinking about that, just the power of being there at this time, being there as a Jew going to Israel, being at the wall, praying with the fellow Jews. You know, there are many, many people, I have family members included, who said, are you crazy sending her? Why are you sending her to Israel? No, I couldn't have stopped her anyway. You know, being a free trip, it's hard to stop a 21-year-old who wants to go, but we were fully behind it, and that's who my daughter is. And I even said to her, and she said to me, actually, Dad, the 30 kids on our trip were special kids, because she also has friends at home who were too nervous to go. But my daughter said, we're going. We're showing our support. But I thought it was something really interesting that I wanted to relay to you, that this boy who knew the prayer book, he was a conservative Jew, went to shul all the time, he couldn't get the words of the Shema out of his mouth. He was so overwhelmed by being there. And I think that really, signified what that trip meant. So if anyone in our congregation donated to Birthright, or you supported, or just supportive of Israel, it's a time where Eretz Israel really needs us. So, yes, definitely. Okay, so in speaking of Israel, we're going to rise as the ark is opened on page 259. Angela's going to sing the prayer for the state of Israel. Page 259, we rise as the ark is open.
Avinu, Avinu, Shebashamayim, Tzur Yisrael v'goalo. Avinu, Avinu, Shebashamayim, Tzur Yisrael v'goalo.
Let's read together in the English at the bottom of page 259 together. O Heavenly One, protector and redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen. We turn to page 282 for the Aleinu. Let's join together. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kigoye haratzot, velo samanu kimishbechot hadama, shelo samchel chenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kecho hamonam, v'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Page 287.
ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
We can close the ark, please. And we will remain standing for the Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. We observe the period of Shloshim, 30 days since their passing, for Paul Kessler, Steve Breen, and Morton Swerdlow. We also mark the yahrzeits of Harold Klein, Leo E. Ney Jr., Leo E. Ney Sr., Nancy DeModica, William S. Hurwitz, Walter Mills, Jenny Roos, Sonia B. Sobel, Sam Swerdlow, Toby Elkins, Jeanette Zuber Folliter, Elizabeth Ann Betty Poolberry, Eli Lerman, Nathan Swerdlow, Jeanette M. Wheel, John Shellhorn, Natalie Greenberg, Nathan Rogan, Sam Saltzman, Helen Louise McWilliams Clark, David Feinberg, Harry Jacobs, Helene Joy Klein Tuman, all the Israelis that were, including members of the Israeli Defense Force who have died since October 7th, 2023, as well as the innocent people of Gaza. And tonight we remember those who perished in these horrific fires in California. We're also going to go around the sanctuary. If there's anyone else we're remembering tonight, please say his or her name out loud. In the back? Anybody? Start way in the back there. Anybody? On page 294, we join together as one the treasured words of the Mourner's Kaddish, page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalmad yivrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yamechon, v'chaye techol beit Yisrael, v'agalah v'zman kariv, v'imru amen. Yeh shemei Rabbah mevarach, v'yalam leo maya, yitbarak v'yishtabak v'yipa'ar v'traman v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, shemei dekudesha b'richu, leila min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, damiran b'yalma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and all of Israel, and let us say, amen. So friends, we're going to close on page 322. Now this is a special song, Ein Kelohenu, and for those who know, you know. I want you to think back to when you were kids at Temple. This is the song, when you heard it, you knew it was almost time for the oneg or the kiddush. Now, young John Nelson, before I was Rabbi John Nelson, my grandmother would always make me calm down and sit in the seat. She said I had shpilkas. For the non-Jews, that's ants in your pants. So, we're going to sing together. If you know, you know. So I want you to sing with extra spirit tonight. Ein Kelohenu is on page 322. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. We're going to convene downstairs for our blessings. Shabbat shalom. Hey, so we'll chat about the...